What's up, fire signs? This one's for you. Gonna be doing an energy reading for this week, so if you're curious what might be going on, stick around. We're about to get into it. All right, I'm probably gonna make today's video pretty short, but we'll see what you guys got going on right now. I definitely felt a shift last weekend, so very interesting. I would say I felt it on Thursday or Friday into Sunday, honestly. It was like the whole weekend kind of felt different, I could definitely feel the movement forward. But anyways, so we got the Archer, biding your time, planning ahead. And this card, I don't even really need to read it because I've gotten it quite a few times, but it's talking about really taking the time to make sure that you're aiming at exactly what you want and not letting anyone else put pressure on you or make you feel like, oh, you need this or you need that. It's kind of like you really focusing on your inner world and not letting outside sources influence you in any way. So yeah, let's see what exactly you're aiming for, and maybe if there's some outside noise coming at you, maybe some conflict or anything. But yeah, let's get into it with some traditional tarot. You're welcome to skip ahead if you don't care about the cards coming out. Oh. Damn, that's a lot. Jesus. Okay, fire sign's got a lot going on. Damn. What the fuck? Dang. Okay. So we're starting off with the Two of Pentacles. So I definitely feel like you've been really trying to figure out your balance, but honestly, that definitely comes with some, back and forth before you actually get to that neutral point. But I feel like this is you trying to balance your emotions, like the harmonic moments, the amazing moments, like where things just feel like they're falling into place, and also the moments that are not so fun. I definitely feel like you've been trying to kind of, find your rhythm with all of these emotions and still honor them at the same time, definitely allowing them to come up, allowing yourself to feel them and understand, the full scope of a situation maybe. And I really feel like it was probably painful to go through this, up and down, and like just this back and forth energy. It's not easy because it kind of feels like you're just getting jerked around and like everything just like you can't land anywhere. It's very stressful, and yeah, I definitely feel like you've been feeling the lows, but I really feel like that time is slowly ending. I really feel like you're finally stepping out of the painful part of, this beginning experience and finally getting to the part where you're feeling a little stable. And that's when things are really starting to get moving. Once the waters start to kind of settle out and find their place, just find their still point, you know what I mean? I really feel like you're going to be like, okay, I feel good. I feel ready to get going on whatever this next lesson I'm learning is, whatever this next journey I'm going on is, whatever you're stepping into right now, I feel like you're finally getting out of, the tumultuous beginning of anything, right? So I definitely feel like you're starting to enter a place where you're beginning to trust yourself and have compassion for yourself for what you've gone through, both you and maybe anybody else involved. You're entering a time of acceptance and peace with whatever it was that was kind of chaotic. I feel like this is the aftermath of a chaotic situation that you've been trying to balance, but I definitely feel like as you're moving out of this, you're stepping out with something really special. And what I noticed when I started was that the arrow is pointing at this pentacle, and I'm like, what exactly are you aiming towards, And I really feel like it's whatever your fulfillment is. You're aiming towards whatever feels right for you, what feels best for you. And when I say that, I mean just like overall in your life. I feel like you went through a stage where you were finding out what you don't want, and now you're in the part of the adventure where you're cultivating and discovering all of the things you did want, and that's really exciting. You're able to reflect now on everything in such a different way that things are going to start feeling better about what happened. You're starting to enter the part of, oh, okay, I understand now why this needed to happen. I understand, what lessons I was learning at that time. Like, you're just seeing it from a different like vantage point, you know what I mean? And when that happens, it's because we're zooming out now. We're not in it. And so we're zoomed out of the situation, and it helps you see everything from like a bird's eye view, because now you're moving on to a different level. So you're looking back down at that other level with other knowledge, like with new knowledge, new wisdom that you've gained. And now you're able to feel really confident about the decisions that you've made up until this point, And the King of Wands is very confident in what he needs to do. He knows that he has inner guidance, with this lizard here, and that he can make anything grow. He can make anything get moving, and has the confidence to start anything. Like, he doesn't really have that hesitation unless he's still weighing things up, right? So I really feel like you're doing what you got to do for your own fulfillment here. I really feel like you're finding, not only material wise with the pentacle, but emotionally as well, you're finding your fulfillment and whatever that looks like for you. And this might be with somebody else, but this also might be within yourself. I really feel like this is also a representation of like your feminine and masculine side kind of coming together and finally working in harmony instead of fighting. So I really feel like there's a lot of clearing up going on this week, and maybe pay attention to any past wounds come up. Wow. Ooh, I'm looking at this different. Okay, hold on. So you notice how there's two people in both of these, past and present or future, but I really feel like there's a need to kind of focus on your relationships to others, and not just now, or whatever this was, but maybe think about your past relationships too. What type of things are you still bringing into your current relationship that maybe needs to be let go of? Or what do you value in your relationships that you need more of? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you're really figuring out your balance here and what's right and what's not for you. And, it just takes a lot of figuring out, a lot of fucking around and finding out, because everybody is so different now. Like, we are all such, unique individuals because we've been exploring this, idea of individuality, you know what I'm saying? Because, in the 1900s, everybody was really grouped together because, the war and shit. And then as we've come out of that, we've been more focused on individual. What's my personal style? What's your personal style? It's like everybody's trying to figure themselves out. And I really feel like we're just needing to be extra open about this, because there's so many nuances to people. I really feel like there's no judgment that you should have right now. It's really just what's working and what's not. That's really it. And you know, with the justice and the judgment, I really feel like you're going through a rebirth at this time. And what have I been talking about this whole time? Balance. Look at how you started. Look at how you're going to end up. You know, there's some serious growth that's going on. It's just not going to really look like it because it seems like this is all really internal, you know? And I mean, maybe in the next couple months, you'll start to see it like in your outside world, you know, you'll kind of prove to yourself, not even to anybody else, but prove to yourself that you're stepping into something brand new. You know, maybe you felt the shift last weekend and you're starting to feel different, right? But yeah, there's a lot of, you know, newness that's coming through and a lot of, you know, finding yourself. So this is beautiful. Let's see. I think I'm going to skip the good tarot today. Go straight to the Moonology deck because I feel like I kind of said what I needed to say. Okay, so future summer here. I just wanted to point something out. So the way that that card fell, the one that I just pulled, luck is on your side. At first I was like, huh, it was in reverse. I hope that doesn't mean like it's the opposite of what it's saying. But no, now that I look at it, it's literally pointing down the same way the other arrow was pointing and towards justice. So I feel like this next era is you gaining justice just for yourself, unless you're literally in a legal battle. But yeah, mainly for just to rebalance your life. I feel like maybe you've been hit with a lot of like low moments like we were talking about, and now you're trying to find your own personal justice of re-establishing your life, realigning your life, you know? And yeah, I started doing this thing where I come back into the reading and point out all the things I find in the, you know, in the after effects when I'm editing and stuff. So yeah, let me know if you like this. But yeah, I just had to point that out because I just thought that was a crazy thing to see afterwards. But yeah, okay. Future summer signing off. Bye. Luck is on your side. Yeah, there's really nothing to worry about. It looks like the hard part is over here, and now it's kind of like letting it unfold. Communication is key. So you know, use your own best judgment with that. I don't know. There might be something going on with somebody else that needs to be brought up. Because for some of you, this is going to be about a relationship. For some of you, it's going to be, you know, more about the relationship with yourself. So maybe this is just being open with yourself too. You know, sometimes people have a hard time of being honest with themselves, being real about what they need to do or what they need to let go of. So be careful with that, and just know that if there's anything that you're feeling like you could talk about or that you need to talk about, just honor that and just do it. Like if there's something standing in your way from finding what you need and it all it needs is a conversation, just do it. I don't know who needs to hear that, but okay, that flew away. Nothing is yet set in stone. Okay, so maybe something needs to be done here. It says the energy is gaining momentum. So yeah, maybe y'all need to get going on something. And maybe this is just making the moves of letting things go and letting other things in. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't know. Some of you might be holding on too tightly to what you have right now. Yeah, some of you might be fighting this new beginning. And I believe that you need to let this tower fall. You need to let shit fall apart. You know, some of you might be really fighting this new beginning, and I would really advise against that. Oh man, we're getting opening up again. How interesting. Somebody needs to open up about their feelings. How are you supposed to get what you want if you're not opening up about it? You're just waiting for this other person to read your mind. You're waiting for everyone to just know automatically what you need. Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, what the fuck? You know, like, you can't get anywhere without opening up about your feelings. Nothing will change without opening up about your feelings. You know, like, you can't just assume that other people should know. I just, you know, that way of thinking is very childish. I used to think like that as a teenager. You know what I'm saying? So there might be some calls to grow up in that way, you know? So yeah, I don't know who needs to hear that, but there's something that needs to be opened up about for some of you. Oh, I forgot about these cards. Yeah, you're on the way to finding your abundance. And I really feel like you have the intentions, you have the intuition, but maybe it's about like really bringing this into effect. Maybe you haven't gotten there yet. It's like your actions are there, but something with, I feel like you're finally aligning your actions with what you want. That's what you're stepping into. Because maybe before you'd be like, I want this thing and I'll do stuff for myself about it, but will I actually like, will I actually choose what I want? Or will I just kind of run in circles? You know, I feel like it's like, this is not, I don't know. It's like, this has the actions for growth, but this has the actions for like finding your abundance. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's two very different things. It's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, I really feel like you're stepping into a different way of aligning. Maybe it just wasn't, maybe your two sides were kind of like, not on the same page ever, and now it feels like you're actually like finding the counterpart to actually bring in what you want to manifest, you know? And I really feel like you're finally finding that alignment for both of these, you know? Yeah, I think I kind of like botched that, but I don't know if I explained that right at all, but oh well. Upskill. So focusing on your career, crossroads, like maybe you're just kind of working on getting to this next level, but you're just not there yet. So I feel like, yeah, you're kind of through the hard tumultuous part, but there's still work to be done about like actually making the steps forward. You know, you're not in the trenches, but you're not necessarily in the clear either. So it's like the training has been done, but now it's actually time for the game itself. I don't know. This is kind of coming through in a crazy way. I'm kind of like, it's another bare minimum Monday for me. Begin writing now. Yeah, if you're confused about your feelings, or maybe you struggle to open up about your feelings, I think writing about it is a lot easier before you actually talk to the person about it. But for some of you, like I said, maybe this is just opening up with yourself, you know? Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But yeah, so there's needing to be this opening up, this figuring out about what exactly you're aiming for if you haven't figured that out yet, you know? Maybe if you're still unsure of exactly what you're manifesting, just break it down simply of like, I just want my best timeline. Like, I just want to bring in my best situation, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to bring in what's most fulfilling for me and take out what's most toxic for me. You know, you can break down your manifestations like that. It doesn't have to be, I want to be this type of dancer on this type of stage. It doesn't have to be so specific. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's definitely coming through. This reading is definitely all over the place, but you know, it just is what it is. Oh, wow. Psychic strength and spirit guides. Yeah, there's a need to just go with the flow and trust your instincts right now, which I know is not super fire sign like. You know, I definitely feel like you guys are really like outward focus, and that's okay. But I think that this might be a time to really go to your inner, you know, guidance and trusting things that aren't based on facts, like really getting to the bottom of your feelings, but in a intentional, pure way, and not just like melancholy sadness, you know, just beating yourself up or anything like that. I just mean like figuring out what you actually want. I don't know, that's really coming through strong. And look at the arrows here, and I don't know, there's something about like you aiming, but there's still, I feel like you haven't chosen yet. I feel like you're still in the middle of choosing what you want, but there's a need to be more open with yourself and others and allowing this to unfold and not fighting this. I don't know. if you're fighting, if you're finding yourself being a little overly aggressive with other people, and maybe just kind of like your lines are thin, like, oh man, what is the word? Your patience is running thin. Maybe you need to like take a step back from everything and really be like, okay, what's going on with me? Why am I so, aggressive and hot today? Why am I so hot-headed? What am I not dealing with that's inside of my body right now? Because that's really what that's saying. If you're finding yourself getting frustrated over every little thing, then something might be deeply wrong that you're not addressing. So I don't know. There needs to be some like going within to figure out why you're fighting this new beginning, if you are, and what you need to open up about, what from your past is coming up, what type of pain is surfacing. I don't know. There's this need to really get aware while you're in this transition, so that when you get to the actual, end goal, where'd that King of Pentacles go? Damn. There he is. Ooh, you notice how he was underwriting. I feel like you're in hermit mode right now. You're in reflection mode so that you can find the cup that leads you to this type of archetype. Because this is what you're stepping into. This is what you're aligning with. But if you step into this not in the right energy, it's not going to last. It's not going to be sustainable. So you got to make sure that you're gathering everything that you need that will actually get you there. Because you won't be as fulfilled if you end up as something else. It's like, okay, the hermit is right here. The stepping stone I need to take is right here. But instead I go this way. It might not be as fun because this is the chaotic route. This is the smooth route. Do you see what I'm saying? You have different routes you can go to get to different places. But if you end up here after going through this, you might not be able to hold on to this. Does that make sense? It's like you're trying to create, like you're trying to step into the right frequency to become your highest potential. Man, I'm probably gonna beat myself up after the way I just fucking explained all of this, and now I'm picking another card. I don't know. I feel like I'm not really in control right now. And I think that's what needs to happen. I think like we need to let go of control, and because I could have been like I could have said this in a way, better way, but this is how it is. So are you gonna, worry about what's going wrong? Or are you gonna just focus on what is and what's going right and not just be so worrisome? The fact that we got open to love, I let go of control and then open to love came out. Weird, right? Relationships, passion, fulfillment. This doesn't have to just be another person. This could be a job, a life that you want, a house you want. It could be anything. It's like that is your fulfillment. That is your like quote unquote love. You know what I'm saying? That would bring a lot of love and joy into your life. So I think you need to be open of it, or I think you need to be open about it. I think you need to stop fighting whatever the fuck from your past is bringing you. Look at this. You see how these cards ended up together? And look how the Tower is clouding up the Queen of Cups. She needs to be on top. You know what I'm saying? Like, this needs to be you as this stuff is coming up. So don't let this fuck with you. There's a lot to be open about. This is a chaotic ass message. If you hung through this, you deserve a medal. King of Earth. I just split the deck in the good tarot, and it was the King of freaking Earth. Guess what the King of Earth is? King of Pentacles. This is chaotic. With the Queen of Earth, I just fucking shuffled this deck, you guys. Come on. I know I sound crazy. I know the way I explain things is crazy, but the cards are showing you. I know what I'm telling you. This is crazy. Okay, this was way different than I was expecting, but it looks like you need to have a lot of trust right now, and you need to let go of your control for just 20 minutes and just write down all of your feelings so you can figure out what the fuck you actually want. Because I really feel like you might be stifling yourself because of logic and reasoning and just all this bullshit that's like you're forgetting about feelings and spontaneity and like all of the beautiful things that can be born from chaos and letting go. Okay. So I think I'm going to end it there because this was pretty insane, but I definitely feel like you're finding your balance. You're ending a cycle here, but yeah, you're entering a new time, and man, the fire signs are the first, the Aries. Okay, no, I'm not going to go there with astrology. Okay, let me just end this. All right. Thank you guys for joining me for this chaotic ass reading. If you made it this far and resonated, please let me know how in the comments, because man, this was insane, but I really appreciate y'all being here with me. If you would like more from me, you're welcome to check out my Patreon or reach out for a personal private reading. All of that information is in the description box below. And yeah, thank you so much. Have a good week. Bye.